Greetings all, this is Justin from Those Hairy Gamers, and I'm here with Nick from Those Hairy Gamers. Say hi, Nick.
Hello!
And here we are with the final full set review of Ixalan. These are the other cards, the cards that didn't
fit with the tribes anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of these cards are strong, but they just won't give you the tribal synergies we're really after to make this set really pop. Most of them I feel are okay for drafting, but all in all, they're either good enough to just work with anything, or they're just not good.
Yeah.
That's the way I see these cards.
And we'll start off with Fire Shrine Keeper. He is a 1 red 1/1 elemental with menace, 7 and a red tap. Sacrifice Fire Shrine Keeper. It deals 3 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. A 1/1 with menace, that's...
I think out of all the cards that are part of this cycle of 1-drops that pay 8 and sack it to do some kind of activated ability, this is probably the better one.
Yeah.
1/1 with menace feels good.
Yeah.
I quite like that. It's a bit fun. Yeah, it's your 1-drop if you don't have the tribal synergy.
Yeah.
And it's a fine 1-drop if you don't have anything else that works. Next we have Gilded Sentinel. This is like a big Aztec kind of totem golem kind of dude. It's a 3/3 for 4 artifact creature. Nothing special. It's below curve. Of course, it's artifacts. They're always below curve because you don't need to spend certain colours. I can't see much use out of this card.
Nope.
Unless you are really stuck on 4-drops in your draft, just don't bother playing this.
Hijack. 1 a red and a red for a sorcery. Gain control of target artifact or creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn.
It's strictly worse than Karizev's Expertise, but in a draft, if you just want to play this, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good enough for 3 mana, that's for sure. And also, the cool thing about this card, apart from the fact that it's a reprint, it has images and flavor text relating to this new Planeswalker that we actually don't have a card for. This is Angrath. He is a Minotaur that has gotten stuck on Ixalan. And if you guys don't know, once a Planeswalker comes to Ixalan, they cannot Planeswalk off of it. Unless there's some kind of thing that they can find that helps. We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But it's cool that there's a Minotaur in Ixalan. That's what I think. But the fact alone that there is a Minotaur Planeswalker, which will probably get a card in the next set, possibly getting a bit more Minotaur tribal support. Maybe, Wizards, please.
Come on, more Minotaurs.
Because the Armament Kept block gave us a bit of a foothold in Minotaur tribal, but not a great foothold. And I think if we had a good Planeswalker to cap that off, that could be fantastic. But we will see where that goes. Next one is Rummaging Goblin. It is a 2 and a red. This is another reprint, actually. It's a 1/1 Goblin Rogue. It has what we call in the Magic community the Rummage ability. Tap to discard a card, then draw a card. A bit worse than Loot because you don't get to draw first and you have less options about what you discard. Tis a fine 3-drop if you don't have anything else. Rummaging is going to help a little bit, but there are much better things you'd be playing.
Yeah, I'd rather nearly anything else. We have Shorekeeper, 1 blue for a 0/3 Trilobite. 7 and a blue tap. Sacrifice Shorekeeper, draw 3 cards. A lot of mana to draw 3 cards.
Yeah, it's part of that 1-drop cycle of 1 creature from each colour that has a activated ability that costs 8 and sack it.
It's a 0/3.
If you're really desperate late game and you're really losing out on cards, I don't hate it as a 1-drop blocker.
Yeah.
It is 3 power/toughness for 1, and that's not terrible.
Yeah.
If you're really stuck on 1-drops, play it. Otherwise, don't bother. Next, we have Skittering Heartstopper. This costs black. It is a 1/2 insect. And for the cost of a black mana, you can give it Death Touch until end of turn. Nasty, nasty, nasty.
Yep, it's a mean insect.
Now, there are already 1-drops that have Death Touch full stop. So it's not really winning out in that. I mean, you have to pay to make it work.
Yeah.
Having said that, it's a 1-drop for 1/2, and you can give it Death Touch and trade off with something way bigger than it. You're not going to turn your nose up at that in a draft.
No.
If you're playing black. It's a decent 1-drop. It'll do a good job.
Yeah.
But not standard playable.
Spreading Rot, 4 and a black for a sorcery. Destroy target land. Its controller loses 2 life.
I'll play it if I don't have much in the 5-drop slot, honestly. Giving yourself that advantage. Its control loses 2 life. Yes, it's always a good thing to smack him in the face, especially with some of the black cards in this set, but I just think it's too expensive and too slow to sort of give any priority to.
So, that was the commons. Moving on to the uncommons.
Starting off with Air Elemental, a very, very classic reprint. Costs 3 and 2 blue. It's a 4/4 with flying. It's good fun. I love the art.
The artwork is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, with the dinosaur flying around it.
Yeah.
And it's like some kind of totem in the middle. Like it's...
I thought it was water.
I'm not sure, but it's just really cool.
It looks nice. Now, one of my favourite cards that's being reprinted is Favourable Winds.
It's favourable in your eyes.
It sure is. It's 1 and a blue, and it's an enchantment. It says creatures you control with flying get +1/+1.
As a standard player, I'm very happy to see this.
Yeah.
Very happy indeed.
Yep. Me going back into standard, I'm happy to see this.
Yeah, it's a great card in Modern. There are good build-arounds for it. And there'll be good build-arounds in Standard. Something that people are looking at currently is the white and blue flyer deck that's going around. You could even put black into that because there's some really good black flyers as well.
I was just going to keep it at straight blue aggro
You could do
with flying.
Yeah, straight blue aggro with flying. Yeah, it works really well. There's a lot of great options for this card. You could even make a flying pirate deck as well, which is kind of cool. You could almost make a flying merfolk deck. I don't think it's quite there in terms of the amount of support that has. But this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. It's going to have a lot of versatility, a lot of use in standard play, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. Ixalan's Binding costs 3 and a white. It's an enchantment. When in Ixalan's Binding, enter the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Ixalan's Binding leaves the battlefield. Your opponent can't cast spells with the same name as the exiled card. So it's probably a worse version of Cast Out. Cast Out has flash and it has cycling. But the added benefit of just denying that card ever gets played again.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a bit mean.
This has the Planeswalker watermark on it because it's a story piece card. This is soon after Jace got to Ixalan and he tries to Planeswalk off and he can't, and this glowing crest appears above his head, which is like Ixalan saying, "No, you can't escape. I am Ixalan. Deal with it."
Thou shalt not pass.
Jace awoke to a certainty he was lost. Oh, I love that flavor text. I love the art, the composition, the lighting is perfect. It's a cool card. I think it's... If you want to do like 3 cast outs in your sideboard, put one of these in. And 2 cast outs instead, because this is going to be relevant in some games.
Yeah.
Casting out that one card you don't ever want to see on the battlefield again is very relevant.
Very much so. We have Lurking Chupacabra, 3 and a black for a 2/3 beast horror. Whenever a creature you control explores, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. So this is sort of your black card that says explore matters.
I'm not super keen on this card either.
Yeah.
But the build around can get a lot of payoff.
Yeah.
I accept that. I just wish he was like a 3/3 or cost 1 less or something to just push it.
Yeah.
Explore is going to be an archetype that people explore. I know. I heard it too. And this is one of those payoff cards, and I feel like it's a payoff that's going to go into the deck, but it's just not pushed enough. It's just not pushed enough to make it work.
I think that if he also explored...
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And then you could even justify making it a rare. You could even do that. -2/-2 is very powerful. It's a very good removal. I just want a bit more reliability on that. I want a bit more. And it's also worth noting that this is useless against dinosaurs. It won't help. It doesn't...
Unless you can play like...
You're not going to get...
4.
Let's be honest, it's going to happen 2, maybe 3 times, tops, in a really good hand. Next we have Pillar of Origins. This is a 2-cost artifact. As Pillar of Origins enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. And tap it to add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of that chosen type. Oh boy, more ramp for dinosaurs, just what we need.
Yeah.
It's good for basically every tribe though. I do quite like this. It's Manalith with a caveat. It must be used to cast your creature spells.
Yeah.
But I like a 2-cost Manalith.
Yeah.
I've always felt like Manalith is middle of the road at 3 cost. So the question here is a 1-cost less Manalith with a slight downside more relevant than Manalith? Which they'll both be standard legal, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather play Manalith, personally.
In a creature-heavy deck, I can see myself playing this. I don't like that Manalith costs 3. That just slows it down a bit too much for my liking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Manalith is probably more versatile overall.
We have Sentinel Totem, 1 mana artifact. When Sentinel Totem enters the battlefield, scry 1, tap, exile Sentinel Totem, exile all cards from all graveyards. This just wrecks everyone.
That's disgusting graveyard hate right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no targeting. You must do it to yourself as well. So if you have any graveyard mechanics, it's going to hurt you. But against a Godpharaoh's Gift deck,
Yeah, you don't care.
just do it. You don't care. It's way better for you. It's way worse for your opponent than it is for you in almost every situation. Wow, that's nasty.
I like this. Maybe even better than Relic?
I like the targeting on Relic. That's one thing I like about it. This has drawn a lot of salt. They're saying, no, we just got at my deck working for my Godpharaoh's Gift. Guys, next set comes along, gives you hate for the last set. That's how this works.
Well, not only that, there was so much other hate. There was Crook of Condemnation. There was the Cats. There were things already in Standard that were graveyard hate cards. So don't bother getting salty over it.
No, there's no point. And there just isn't that many graveyard mechanics in Ixalan. So, sideboard card, sure. Not in a main deck, because against Pirates, probably not that useful. Yeah, there's a bit of pulling stuff out of graveyards with Pirates, but not a whole heap.
No.
Yeah, chuck it in your sideboard, have a great time with it if you ever come up against a Godpharaoh's Gift deck. But apart from that, I think this is just going to be a good card. And one more thing, the fact that you scry 1 when it comes in is nice.
I like that.
It already has enough upside without it, but that's just solid. Next we have Wild Growth Walker, costs 1 and a green. It's an elemental, is a 1/3. Whenever a creature you control explores, put a +1/+1 counter on Wild Growth Walker and you gain 3 life. This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say this is better or worse than the Chupacabra. The fact that this costs 2 and the Chupacabra costs 4 makes this way more usable. You're making a really big wall. You're gaining life. You're giving yourself bigger card advantage. It's good.
I think, Black-Green Explore could work. Yeah. And if it does work, this is going to be one of your main cards.
You need something big at the top of the curve to really say, okay, I've done all this board positioning, I've done all this explore stuff. How do I capitalize on it? That's the next thing that comes out. Yeah. And you could do it over and over again and make this guy big, but it's going to be too slow. It's not going to win you games. You need the big bomb at the end of your deck.
So now going on to the rares, we have Dowsing Dagger, 2 mana for a artifact equipment. When Dowsing Dagger enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 2/0/2 green plant creature tokens with Defender. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may transform Dowsing Dagger. It then transforms into the Lost Veil, which says, tap, add 3 mana of any one colour to your mana pool. On a flying creature, this thing's fine.
Even with Menace, I mean, you're giving your opponent blockers, but you can work around that if you want. You need to cast it for 2, and then you need to pay 2 to get on your creature. So it's not the fastest thing in the world, but the payoff is fantastic. Next we have Fleet Swallower. Costs 5 and 2 blue. It's a 6/6 fish. When Fleet Swallower attacks, target player puts top half of his or her library rounded up into his or her graveyard.
That's a big fish.
It's a big fish.
It's a big millfish.
And, the millfish. That's what we're going to call it from now on. I don't like that it costs 7 and not automatically winning you a game. It needs to survive a rotation of Summoning Sickness to start working. I know it's great with Fraying Sanity. I just think it's too slow. That's just what this all comes down to. Never completely ignore stuff that says destroy half your opponent's deck. It's always good fun.
Yeah.
And it's rounded up, isn't it? Yeah, rounded up. So if you use Fraying Sanity, you will win the game. If you have it on the table and then you swing with this. This comes out as soon as possible on turn 7 and then swings on turn 8.
Unless you somehow get some treasure tokens. So you can...
Yeah.
You can
This is the issue, though. When I talk about Fraying Sanity, you have to go all in on the strategy. So when you say, but I could work around this card by having treasure tokens, and suddenly you start to lose focus. The focus is Fraying Sanity, not Fleet Swallower.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have cards that combo with that, and cards that combo with that, and cards that combo with that.
Yeah, because you're
losing focus and you're not being efficient. So I don't love Fleet Swallower. If it had haste, if it was cheaper, it's annoying, but not really consistent in my eyes.
No. Old Growth Dryads. It's 1 green for a 3/3 Dryad. When Old Growth Dryads enters the battlefield, each opponent may search his or her library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle his or her library.
I know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't quite know whether that's good enough.
Yeah.
A 1-drop 3/3 is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. That is amazing. Giving your opponent ramp is not amazing. It's the opposite of amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we put up with it with Path to Exile because it's an instant speed removal that deals with the creature that really screws you up, or you path your own creature and get land ramp. So is the upside good enough to counteract that downside? We put up with this with Path to Exile because removal is so powerful. And this,
and again, it's a 1-drop 3/3, so it's almost modern playable. Like it is modern playable in that regard.
Yeah.
However, giving an opponent an additional land is terrifying.
It's risky. It's very risky. And I will also say, even in standard play, if this doesn't come down turn 1 or 2, you've lost the value of it. If it comes down turn 3, you're just ramping your opponent and not putting a creature on the board that's significant enough to help you turn 3.
Yeah.
So it has to come out in your opening hand, and that's the problem. You have to basically play 4 of this to make sure it's in your opening hand, but then you have 3 copies you probably don't want to play. It's a bit awkward from that regard, isn't it? Yeah.
And then you sit there going, do I want to play this turn 1?
Next we have Primal Amulet. It is a 4-cost artifact. Instants and sorceries you cast cost 1 less to cast. Awesome. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a charge counter on Primal Amulet. If there are 4 or more charge counters on Primal Amulet, you may transform it. And it transforms into Primal Wellspring. It's a land. Add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. When that mana is spent to cast an instant or sorcery, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy.
Oh,
I like it. I like it. There is a lot of good, like, red burn really fast.
Yeah.
This and Vance's blasting cannons, and it's good.
Yeah.
I really like both of these cards. That's just really good. It cost 4, so relatively slow to get in, but working so well for you the second it comes out. Yeah. It's a shame there's no instants and sorceries in standard that only just cost 1 generic mana, because that'd be free. but yeah, obviously that's just built into the balance of the card.
Yeah. And Vanquish's Banner, 5 mana artifact. As Vanquish's Banner enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. And whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Very good. An auto tribal card.
Yep.
Depends how your curve's looking. Pretty good in Dinosaur.
I'm not sure about Pirates just because of the aggro. I'm not sure about...
I like it as a bomb in the Pirate deck. I like it as the top of your curve because you put it down and the value is there right away. And if you've got a decent amount of Pirates, you're then swinging with all of them with +1/+1. I feel like cards that cost 5, 6, 7, you need the value as soon as they hit the battlefield. And this does give it to you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't get all the cards' value because you're tapping out to play it pretty much every time. And then you need to play more cards to get those draws.
It's okay.
So last but not least, we have one mythic card I wanted to show off. And the reason I put Jace in this video is because, well, he works with the Pirates. We know that happens, but we also know that he works with Merfolk. So he is the last spell in Ixalan we're looking at. Jace, Cunning Castaway. What a card. Cost 1, blue and a blue. He's a Planeswalker. He's Jace. We all know that. 3 loyalty. He's +1. Whenever 1 or more creature you control deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card, then discard a card. Really good with Pirates. I like that. Neg 2. Create a 2/2 blue illusion creature token with becomes the target of a spell. Sacrifice it.
So that's normal for illusions. I like the fact that he's actually got something where he can create a blocker for himself. It's
quite nice.
Yeah.
A bit harsh at Neg 2, but you have to remember this is a 3-cost Planeswalker. It's not going to have the best efficiency out of its uses. But I really like this ult. Create 2 tokens that are copies of Jace, Cunning Castaway, except they're not legendary.
Yes, this is the reason that they changed Planeswalkers, basically.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, but how I feel about this card, I like that. I like token copies that can create, that can up the looting. One of the tokens can loot, one of them can create an illusion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. And Anointed Procession with this card, Justin. The second ability, you are making two blue illusions. If you ult him, you are making 4 copies of Jace.
Oh, that's dirty.
It's dirty, but it's fun dirty.
No, it's not.
It's fun for everyone. For all the girls and boys. Yeah.
No.
This Jace ulting off is just disgusting.
Yeah.
He starts with 3 loyalty. You have to tick him up twice, which is not ideal because the ticking up doesn't really defend him. But in an aggro pirate deck, yeah, I like this. I like this. Will it work with merfolk? That remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I like the whole illusion thing. By the way, it's worth noting that this card flavor matches what's going on with Jace in this story really well. The reason his ult is literally creating illusions of himself is because in the start of the story, he suddenly remembers that he's a magician, and the first thing he does is he creates an illusion of himself. Because he lost his memory, that is all he knows. He only knows himself. So flavor-wise, that is on point.
Yeah,
that is on
very
point.
Cool.
And he's also being tormented by illusions of the other Gatewatch members, but he doesn't know who they are. So when we're talking about illusions that just pop when they get targeted, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
This card matches the flavor. It's powerful. It's a 3-drop Planeswalker. Always pay attention to those.
Yep.
And it is very, very exciting. I hope I crack one of these in a packet. I'd be so happy if I got a Jace.
Yeah, same here. So the final thing we have for Ixalan are some reprinted lands and a couple of new lands.
Yep. We got our buddy lands in ally colours, meaning these come into play untapped if one of the basic land names of that type, of either of the colours it is present.
So, for example, we've got here Sunpetal Grove. So it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a forest or a plains, and it taps for either a green or white mana.
So you get the idea. And the cool thing is, this also has come off the back of the Armenket cycle lands, which have those basic land names and are also allied colours.
Yep.
So if you're playing a deck with allied colours, you've got some great options now, which is fantastic. We also have Field of Ruin. It's an uncommon land. Tap to add a generic mana to your pool. Also, 2 tap and sacrifice Field of Ruin to destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Each player searches his library for a basic land, puts it into the battlefield, then shuffles his or her library. This is great against legendary enchantment lands.
Yep.
That's the main reason it's here.
This is, like a new version of Ghost Quarter. It costs 1 more, but both of you are getting a basic land.
Sideboard this in for one of your basic lands if you really have to hate on your opponent's lands. Ixalan has lots of cool lands, so this is going to be relevant for Standard, that's for sure.
We also have Unknown Shores. It is a basic land. Tap and add 1 generic to your mana pool. Tap and pay 1 mana. Add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Mana fixing.
Mana fixing. If you're drafting or playing sealed, if you're playing 3 colours, you'll be happy to have this because you won't have all the cool lands in your deck. I think with all the dual colour lands, I don't think this is going to see play in Standard.
No.
We also have Unclaimed Territory. This is really cool. As Unclaimed Territory enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You can add a generic mana to your pool or add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Spend this only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type. In a very creature-heavy deck, in any of these colours, I like this.
Yeah, I prefer this over the artifact.
Yes, I see what you mean. Over the totem. Yeah, okay. I see what you mean. In a dinosaur deck, you want this because you have lots of different mana symbols in the dinosaur deck. Even the pirate deck.
Yeah.
There are some very low to the grounds multicolored cards that you want to get out as fast as possible. It sucks that you can't use it to cast your Fatal Pushes or your Burns or whatever, but you'll have other mana cards for that, hopefully.
Yeah. And this does at least tap for a generic as well, so...
That's right. You'll at least get the value of it, even if you can't cast your creatures off of it. So it's not clunky, it's solid, and at uncommon, it's quite good.
So, that is it for our Ixalan preview.
That is Ixalan. I'm very hyped for this.
Yeah.
I'm very, very hyped for this. I'm going to the pre-release. I'm going to draft this set. I've never drafted before. I'm going to get into drafting because of this set. I'm unashamedly really hyped for this one.
That's good to hear. Yeah, no, there's some great cards in this set.
Going to do a lot for Standard, going to do a little bit for Modern, going to do a lot for Commander as well. But overall, I'm just happy to play this set in a vacuum, in the draft format, in the Standard format. It's going to be a lot of fun. And anyway, guys, thanks for watching all of these. We will catch you in the next video.
Bye!